Hey guys, Desolator Magic back, and this time I have a very interesting topic to cover. Some of you probably haven't even heard the term yet. You just clicked on this video because you want to see what the heck I'm talking about. So what is this new Magic Digital Next? Well, the simple answer is nobody knows. And I'll see you guys next video. Just kidding, I do know a little bit about it at least. The current state of this product as far as released information is that they haven't released any information about it. 100% of what we know so far is from the Hasbro Investor Meeting presentation. So Hasbro, the owner of Wizards, which is the owner of Magic the Gathering, they had their annual investor meeting and they talked about all their different major brands and what their plans are for the future so that investors will give them money. I looked through the PowerPoint and it turns out they're actually doing quite well. A lot of their brands and major sectors are doing great. I assume they're profitable, so go them! I'm still not going to invest in them though. So the presentation slideshow had this particular slide in it, and of course I am far too lazy to watch the actual presentation. But based on the actual slide itself, it looks like, the brand new product that they just made called Duels, which is, Duels of the Planeswalkers or whatever they called it. That's for prospective people, maybe just, gamers. They've never played Magic, or maybe they're just brand new to Magic, so that's what Duels is for. So it's more video gamey, you could get into it, and then maybe get interested in playing Magic the Gathering for real on a different platform, either, paper or digital. Then their only other digital product, or the only other digital offering, I guess you could say, is Magic the Gathering Online, which is just cold, boring, straight-up automated digital Magic. Just nothing special, It's not like Hearthstone, where it's all sound effects and sparkles flying everywhere and all that. It's just, you're playing Magic, the end. And of course, I certainly don't have a problem with it, or with that aspect of the design. I do have a problem with MTGO in general. One, buying the cards twice is stupid. And then two, it's designed like it's the 90s, and they haven't updated it or put any money or time or effort into it. Now, they are in 2016 sometime. For all I know, it already happened. I don't follow this stuff. They're updating, they called it a .NET upgrade. So what that means is they're either switching the entire program to a newer version of the .NET framework, or they're switching it to the .NET framework in the first place, which that should help stability. They said it's going to lower the system requirements, which no, it won't if you're going from 2.0 to 3.5. That's a terrible example. That's what they used in 07, but still. So yeah, a bigger, newer, more modern framework is not going to make it faster unless they get a little boost from built-in multi-threaded stuff. That Microsoft already did for you in the framework, but you guys don't give a crap about software design or IDEs or frameworks or any of that. So basically, they're going to try to make Magic the Gathering Online a little bit faster, a little bit better, but they're putting the bare minimum effort into it still, it sounds. So MTGO is basically just for pro players, according to this graph. I think it's pro or pro-ish. Somebody who would never play at the professional level or go to a pro tour, which is, by the way, not professional, it's promotional. The word's pro, completely different pros there. But, they mean Grand Prix attendees and all that. That's what MTGO is for, I guess, because it's so dull and boring. It's just, a platform to play MTG on, and that's it. Doesn't have to look pretty or apparently work either. Plus, there are a whole bunch of, leagues and tournaments and stuff that they put on. So it's kind of, meant to simulate the Grand Prix and the Pro Tour, so I kind of get that. So their point, apparently, was that there's nothing in the middle for the competitive player and the active casual player. So that's people who have played in organized play within the last 6 months, which, come on, if it was only one time in the last 6 months, why would they put them up that high on the chart? Whoever made this was just dumb. Anyway, it's also supposed to be an active casual player, which is honestly what I would call somebody who played in the last 6 months, but they say they've played Magic in the last 12 months, but never played or formally played in organized play. So basically, any organized event, probably they mean DCI sanctioned. So your ranked tournaments using the Wizard scoring program, basically. So Friday Night Magic, Modern Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever your LGS holds. So they want a product for those people, which is odd. I would say the I go to F&M usually player. That's who's in the middle there. So just pretend it says that. I'm sure that's what they meant. So for the I go to F&M but I don't go to Pro Tours crowd, they want some sort of thing that's more attractive than MTGO, but less hand-holding stupid as Duels. Now that sounds great, except I can't think of what that would possibly be, what that would even resemble. Usually you can kind of read between the lines and say, oh, they're doing this. I couldn't tell you. There's been a lot of speculation, though, that since MTGO is not accessible on anything other than a computer. You can't play it on a tablet, none of that. That this will be accessible on a tablet. And if I'm not mistaken, Duels is also on mobile as well as computers and pretty much everything else. I should really check it out a little bit more and do a video on it, because a lot of people haven't seen it or even heard of it. And of course I haven't played it myself yet, but I have seen it. So without actually watching the presentation, and still from what I've heard from other people, they just didn't really go into detail about what this would be, because one, the people don't care, you know, they're just investors, they don't care. They're just like, oh, cool, you see a gap in your product thing and you're making a product. Okay, done, that's all we need to know. I mean, they don't play Magic, they're, you know, probably a bunch of stuck-up, rich Wall Street guys in suits. So unfortunately, since this was not meant to be a release to all of us and the general public or any of their customer base, they aren't giving us anything we need to know. And I need to know. They did mention that it's going to be, I think, something like 2 years before they're done or ready to launch it or something like that. So it must be just like conceptual and they're working on it right now. Or maybe they haven't even truly started working on whatever it is. Wow, what a great idea. Give all your digital competitors that are better than you, like Hearthstone, give them a gigantic advantage by waiting 2 years to do anything. But yeah, Wizards doesn't tend to fix things in a timely manner ever, or adapt to anything quickly, or fix MTGO, or basically do anything. They just do nothing. So 2 years, or as I like to call it in game development time, 4 years from now, they'll probably come out with something called Magic Digital Next. And we don't even know if that's a code name or the actual name of the product. I mean, it would be a pretty cool name, so it probably is a name. I mean, it sounds kind of neat. But for now, we really don't know anything about it. It'll probably be cross-platform. It will probably be some kind of friendly, flashy version of MTGO, maybe. But the question is, Duels is free. MTGO is unbelievably expensive. What will this one be? Because, you know, this was at the investment meeting. It would be weird if it literally drew in $0. I mean, that just doesn't make sense. So expect to pay something for this, but I don't know what. Now, I know the speculation that always flies around has been flying around since MTGO came out. Will they start putting like serial numbers or QR codes or, yeah, right, RFID chips into cards so that you can import your paper collection, prove that you own it, and play with it online? And so that you wouldn't have to buy all your cards twice on MTGO, which is the number one reason I do not play Magic the Gathering online. If I already bought the deck once, I sure as hell am not buying it twice, and you guys know I'm not one to build expensive decks. I thought about this very, very extensively because I know a lot about computers and technology and inventory and tagging and, you know, database systems, that sort of stuff. And there is quite simply no way to make a system like that work. It's just impossible. What really kills the best of the best ideas is the secondary market. How do you prove that somebody didn't already import that card into their account on, we'll say, MTGO? So if there's a barcode, a QR code, a serial number, whatever, and you say, okay, here's a little picture with my smartphone, add it to my library. There you go. Use some real quick rapid scanner or something like that. Okay, now it's been used. Now you want to sell the card. Well, how do you do it? I mean, you could just say, oh, 100% of used cards have not been activated on MTGO. You can still import them. But how do you prove it? You could do like a scratch-off thing where you got to scratch off the code like some prepaid gift cards and that kind of thing. But that would be really expensive. I mean, that is not cheap to produce. And, you know, while you're playing with the cards, you might accidentally kind of put a scratch across it and it just wouldn't work. So then if you do kind of like the I still own the disc thing on the Xbox, I believe 360 was the one that did this, where they make you put in the disc at least once every 6 months, but the game actually runs off the hard drive. So you don't really need the disc to play it, but if you sold the disc to GameStop, then, you know, 6 months from now when it says, hey, put in the disc just for a second to prove you still own it, you don't, and then they'll delete the game off your hard drive or disable it or whatever they do. But rescanning 1,000 cards in every 6 months, boy, that would be fun. They would have to sell like speed scanning devices, and then they'd have to have like a mobile edition for people without computers, and it would be a disaster. It just wouldn't work. But you know what else doesn't work? Letting people have 4 Jaces for free in their deck as long as they just add them. That's why X-Mage is such a net decking circus. I mean, it does work. You play legit games, and yeah, people are running net decks, whatever. And people are going to buy the cards regardless, but letting everybody just go nuts with like $1,000 cards from Legacy and stuff and without having to pay for them, pretty much everybody would end up running the same couple decks. So I guess that's why MTGO costs money, that, and it costs money to make, so they want to make money on it. And it's, I think they said it's above 50% of their total MTG income, so it actually beats paper. That is pretty shocking. I believe that's gross sales too, not net, because, it costs money to make printed cards, but doesn't take money to make digital cards. And yet still, they're grossing more, so obviously they're profiting more from MTGO, so they're not going to kill it anytime soon. But they're lazy, cheap, and stupid, so they're not going to upgrade it or make it work properly anytime soon either. So here comes Magic Digital next. But I think if you think about it logically, there's just no way to make Magic Digital next import your paper cards. So I think we can safely say that that's not going to happen. I can definitely say, though, that for the casual players that they're targeting, or the people who just have played in the last 6 months and that's that, they are not going to pay MTGO level money. So how are they going to put cards in people's hands and have them play without just costing tons of money? I mean, they still got to have the cards. So what I'm picturing potentially is you have to pick from one of their pre-made decks. Well, that would kind of suck. I mean, that would really, really suck. If all you can do is fight with intro decks nonstop, and one is, usually 5% better than the rest, or more, that would get really old really quickly. And that kind of resembles what they do in duels. So, I really don't know. I mean, how are they gonna charge less than MTGO, but have it still be like a knockoff of MTGO with better sound effects and graphics, which is what I picture. I just don't know. So, until they really announce something, nobody's going to know, and I don't really think that they're going to announce anything until at least a year from now, which will be about a year out from release date, allegedly. But if they couldn't even fit the white text that says active casual player within their cute little orange box without touching the border, I wouldn't hold my breath that they're going to get Magic Digital next done anytime soon. So whatever it is, maybe people like it, maybe they'll hate it. It seems like whenever Wizards comes up with like a solution, a new idea, a new product, it's been pretty much a hit lately. I mean, you're going to have people hating on no matter what they bring out. There's some people who think, oh, Eternal Masters, that's so awful. But the majority of people are like, yeah, we need to fix the no reprint problem. I mean, yeah, there's the reserve list, but we need to get these cards in people's hands or the situation's only going to get worse and it's going to cost $100,000 to build a deck. I mean, it's just a smart, well thought out decision that they made and then they did. So here's hoping it doesn't suck. But I will say that since this is obviously going to be some sort of money-making product, here's the number one thing that people hate about MTGO. I may have misstated that it was something else earlier in this video, if memory serves. The number one reason that people do not play MTGO is because if Wizards decides, oh, we don't like you, we don't like this language that you used in the chat, we don't like this or that or whatever, you're banned. Just like any online game, we just banned you. You just lost your entire card collection because guess what? Unlike the paper cards, you don't own them. In fact, the terms of service say you don't own them. It's just like in World of Warcraft. You don't own any of those items. Blizzard made that very clear. You don't own the sword, you don't own the armor, you don't own anything. You don't even own the character. So you can't sue them for losses or anything like that, and you certainly can't sell any of the in-game items either for real-world cash because you don't own them. They own them. They're on the server, they're in their game, it's in their database. It's their property. So you could drop $10,000 in MTG Online, and then Wizards decides, we don't like this, we don't like you insulting the player you played against. You're banned. Kiss your $10,000, goodbye. I would still take them to court if that happened to me. I mean, I don't care what their terms of use say, I would sue them. Except that would never happen because I'm too smart to play MTGO. I know that that's a potential thing that they could do. I know that, in fact, my account could get hacked, and they could probably just either delete all my cards, not sure if that's a thing you could do, or trade them away for practically nothing. I'm also not sure if that's a thing you could do. I don't really play MTGO, but yeah, I don't want some guy in some customer service rep that's a third-party contractor deciding that they don't like me and they want to suspend my account, and everything I've ever put into it, all the card collection is all gone in a flash. That is completely unacceptable. And because of solely that reason, regardless of anything else you think about MTGO, that is the reason I would tell everybody watching this video not to play MTGO. Until they agree that you're leasing the cards, or that if they ban your account, you get some sort of monetary, reimbursement or something, or I don't know, or that they'll mail you the cards, which they actually do have a program that does that, but not if you get banned. Until they agree that, until their terms of service say that you own the cards, guess what? Nobody should be playing it. Nobody. It's just not safe and it's just not fair. Now, I have to add, for fairness, I don't think I've ever heard of anybody actually getting banned from MTGO who had some giant collection. I think they banned people for like hacking or attempting hacking or cheating or something like that. But I think they just hand out suspensions. But still, theoretically, they could ban you just like any MMO. They could just decide, oh, we're going to delete your account. We don't like something about it. So with that looming and the fact that their terms of use says they don't owe you anything, you're literally paying them for nothing, just the opportunity to pretend to use cards that you don't own, it's just not gonna happen. Sorry. Wizards may have fooled some people, but they don't fool me, and hopefully now they don't fool you. So I wouldn't invest a whole lot of money into MTGO. For legal reasons, because I'm sure their lawyer's already writing up a complaint to me right now, I have to say that everything I just said was just my opinion. It's not meant to be taken as fact or an actual logical assessment of MTGO as a product. It is simply my opinion and my take on, well, how I see their product. That said, I hope that they release something that doesn't suck, because then I'll have something new to talk about and something new to play. In the meantime, hey, there's always X-Mage. I absolutely love X-Mage. You guys should check it out and definitely play it. And they are not paying me to say that. I'll see you guys next video.